Ask yourself, who's the most talented, accomplished video game character ever? Captain Price? Kratos? Mario maybe? Wrong. It is in fact the Nintendo Mii. These bubbly, bobble-headed son of a guns have been all over the world, the galaxy even, taking part in the most random, excruciating, life-dedicating activities that many of us can't even comprehend. Though they lack fingers, it doesn't stop them from becoming a professional in any activity they touch. They are the Johnny Sins of the video game world. Wherever you least expect them to appear, bam, there they are, flaunting their raw skill. I mean, who do you think is the greatest boxer to ever touch this earth? Mike Tyson? Jake Paul? No, it's Matt. At 24 years old, I still have nightmares about him. And that is just one of the many sports these freaks are gods at. Basketball, table tennis, curling, you name it, they've mastered it all. Want to relax and race against some cute Nintendo characters? Well, get prepared to be dusted by some me who looks like Donald Trump. Want to play some party games with your friends or duke it out in a fight? Well, they're here too. You can't escape them. And God forbid you end up in a world surrounded by only Miis. Let's take a look at why these Miis are the most versatile, beloved characters in video game history, starting off with... Okay, it shouldn't be a surprise that these characters are good at sports. I mean, their first ever introduction to the video game world was Wii Sports. These guys have spent countless hours, and I mean countless, perfecting their tennis swings, hitting baseballs out of the park, setting record-breaking golf scores, terrorizing bystanders with a backwards roll in bowling, and putting on the most spectacular display of competition the boxing world has ever seen. Though it's just a simple arrangement of common sports, these Miis perfected their craft. Compare them to the greatest athletes to ever exist. Serena Williams can't duplicate herself and be her own teammate, and I guarantee you she couldn't duplicate herself 2 more times and be her own opponent. Now that's what I call an intense game. Name another player who could hit 9+ home runs back to back, coming from a pitcher who only throws 90-mile-per-hour balls and doesn't need to sub in someone else. How about an athlete that can go 3 excruciating rounds giving and receiving punches just to immediately run it back against a harder opponent? Sure, the greatest athlete of all time of that sport could maybe achieve some of the same accomplishments, but could Babe Ruth become a boxing champion? Could Serena Williams strike out 3 batters in a row? Well, the Miis can, because they are so talented they are champions of all those sports. And just to prove that, they did it again 7 years later in Wii Sports Club. But now it's in HD, so all the haters could see perfectly that they are at the top of the food chain. Now, opponents of the Miis tried to put them in a box. They tried to claim that they were only good at those 5 sports. To prove them wrong, they populated an entire remote island and filled it with only the most absurd, niche, demanding sports you can think of to put an end to the debate. Though Wii Sports Resort contains the word resort, there is no room to relax for these Miis. They are always on that intense Sigma grind. Do they need to have the craziest sword showdown inside an active volcano? No, but you best believe they gonna do that because they strive to push boundaries. And don't let these bright smiles and floating hands distract you from the fact that they will dunk on you so hard you'll have to legally change your name to Shoe Licker. Yeah, there are less physically demanding sports they take part in like wakeboarding or frisbee, but even these guys find a way for that to be dangerous. Like, which one of them decided to put these long ass buoys in the middle of the course? One wrong move and your appendages are literally ripped from your body. That's a career-ending injury. And frisbee, well, frisbee is actually pretty safe, unless you're terrified of cute little puppies. But don't you dare bring up Nintendo Switch Sports to them. This is a very touchy subject for them. You think they're okay with being replaced by these knockoff bootleg Miis? Sure, you can use their face on your character, but this is not a Mii. In fact, it's a little creepy. Now, while all this was going on, there was one character who was watching from a distance with resentment and fear of being outshined: Mario. He caught word that there was a new sports legend in town and he was not having it. So he invited them to play in his sports to truly test their skill. He witnessed firsthand their baseball abilities and wanted to put them to the test in Mario Super Sluggers. But Mario wasn't about to play fair. No, he knew his only shot at beating the infamous Miis was to play dirty. Firstly, Miis can't be team captains. Mario knew that if a Mii was team captain, their incredible leadership would lead them to victory. Secondly, Mario worried that the Mii's previous baseball experience in Wii Sports would give them the advantage. So he decided to incorporate items that he can throw at players on the field, hindering the Mii's ability to play. And on top of that, these stadiums that Mario handpicked are filled to the brim with hazards that none of the Miis are sure to expect. But even with all this, it wasn't enough to stop the Miis from dominating on the field. They caught fly balls, delivered the most diabolical pitches, and used the power of the gods to hit the ball to the outer field. Mario now knew what they were capable of, but he persisted and invited them to play golf. Surely he can outshow them here, right? I mean, he's been playing since the early days of the NES in 1987. But none of that matters anyways because he's already outstaged before the game even starts. With so many games of Mario being the main character, he expected this one to be the same. I mean, the game is literally called Mario Golf. Well, not this game. The Nintendo gods decided that the Mii would be the main character, the one who goes on an adventure and becomes the best of the best, because that's how every video game adventure ends. And Mario knows this, so there's no point in even trying. He was forced to sit back and watch as the Mii golfed the hell out of his game. But Mario hasn't given up just yet. He wanted a fair shot against the Mii in his choice of sports. And no, not a heavy team game like baseball, he wanted more intimate sports. So he invited his close friends and even enemies to finally beat the Miis in Mario Sports Mix. These were 2-on-2 games and a mix of 4 sports that were for sure to put the Miis in their place. The Mario Kingdom are known for their jumping abilities, so basketball should be a breeze. Well, Mario forgot to recognize that this is not their first time playing basketball. Who needs a teammate when you have the dunk power of Shaquille O'Neal on steroids, the shooting accuracy of John Wilkes Booth, the ability to throw haymakers at a large 8 because the ref is too scared to call a foul? All these things combined create the most deadly basketball force to ever grace the court. Mario thought he could take his anger out in a game of dodgeball? Ha! These arms were handcrafted by Shigeru Miyamoto himself for one purpose. No, it doesn't involve lotion and tissues, but instead is meant for throwing balls at light speed. This simple sport is nothing compared to what the Miis have accomplished, so of course they dominated. And as fate would have it, volleyball and hockey had the same outcome. Mario had finally given up his ambition to beat the Miis in sports. He was ready to leave this rivalry in the past and move forward. So when he was officially invited to compete in the Olympic Games against Sonic characters, he saw it as an opportunity to put himself back on the map. And Sonic was a rival he could actually handle. Well, the Olympic officials decided to invite one more player. Yup, you guessed it, the Mii. You think they were going to miss the world's largest sporting event? They can now prove to the entire world that they can beat any character, Sonic, Mario, whatever, in any sport. Mario could have just let the Miis play their sports alone in peace, but no, he had to create a monster. These Miis popped off, they showed out. They collected gold medals like they were loose change in a cup holder. They became a crowd favorite. They were the underdogs that defeated the almighty Mario and Sonic. So, the Olympic officials decided to invite them again to the Olympic Winter Games. And now you can see their true power from looking at these stats. They were being recognized as near perfect specimens. And to no surprise to anyone, whatever sport they threw at them, they conquered it. Snowboarding, speed skating, figure skating, it was all a breeze. They were then invited to the London Olympic Games, where this time you can have an entire team of Miis. It became apparent that the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games series was slowly turning into the Mii Olympic Games. This is reinforced when in the main menu of the Sochi Winter Olympic Games, the first thing you see is a Mii holding their flag at the top of the world. Even Nintendo can't hide the fact anymore that the Miis have become an unstoppable force. Because the Mii's presence was booming in these games, the Olympic officials dedicated an entire store to selling Mii clothing. Other characters like Mario and Sonic can't customize what they wear. Now why is that? But in 2016, everything changed. When the Rio Olympic Games rolled around, the Miis officially claimed the game as theirs. They were everywhere. Lounging on the beach, crossing the streets, the Miis had outnumbered the Mario and Sonic characters. They traveled from every country around the world to prove their dominance as the sport's king. They were the main character. They had entire tournaments that only allowed Miis to compete in. The prizes for competing were Mii clothing and accessories, and don't forget that they were still unstoppable in the actual sports itself. Mario and Sonic had to accept the fact that they will never beat the Mii in sports. But very quickly, many others besides Mario and Sonic became aware of the Mii's growing power. These others all wanted a chance to prove their skill against them. So on November 21st, 2014, everyone would get that chance. That's right, the Miis were ready to drop the golf clubs and tennis rackets and throw hands. But what are they gonna do? Sure, they've boxed, but this is very different from boxing. I mean, one character can shoot lightning, one can turn into heavy objects, and this one is just a shadow. To stand a chance, they were gonna have to fight fire with fire, up their game to the next level. So they found an arsenal of deadly weapons they could use at their disposal. Guns for long range, swords for medium, and some knuckle sandwiches for close range. They had to train the hardest they've ever had to before. They needed to learn special moves, their opponent's weaknesses, and how to use their environment to their advantage. And you know what? It paid off. They held their own against characters who are much more skilled and powerful than them. Sure, there were times they lost, but there were plenty of times they won due to their willpower. They had gained respect, except for Mario, he was still pretty salty. But that respect still got them an invitation to the next Smash Bros. Games, an even bigger stage. Now we move on to the next section where the Miis... I wasn't finished saying what I was... He might not have been able to escape the Miis in the sporting world, but at least he could race against his friends in peace. Wrong, there is no peace when the Miis exist. Mario's beloved Mario Kart series has been invaded by the Miis. Who would have thought that another character besides himself would be a god at sports and racing? And they were demons on the track. Mario realized that they were not only persistent to prove themselves the best in sports, but the best in everything. You think throwing red shells, using bullet bills, hitting nasty drifts, and taking OP shortcuts were exclusive to Mario characters? No, the Miis weren't having that. They came here to conquer, and that's exactly what they did. Hell, most of the audience are other Miis supporting their chosen champion. They even took it upon themselves to create their own map hazards in Coconut Mall to slow down the competition. But someone should teach them about friendly fire. And like a crazy ex-girlfriend, they also followed Mario to Mario Kart 7. New features, items, characters, courses, but still the same me. But this time around, the Miis demanded representation for all their hard work. So they got not one, but 2 maps that paid homage to the Miis. It's like they were right back home on Woohoo Island, so of course they're gonna know these tracks like the back of their hands. And then there was the big one. The highest selling Nintendo Switch game ever sold, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, originally on the Wii U. Every kid and their mom and their mom's mom was tuned in to see who the best racer was. It looked the best it's ever have, the tracks were the craziest you've ever seen, and 200cc was a thing. The Miis had to lock in. They deterred blue shells, took on 11 other players, and absolutely stunted on their asses, all while looking so sweet and innocent. And the reason they look so sweet is because of these cute little outfits Nintendo so graciously gave them to wear. I'm sensing a little favoritism. More so, you know who appears on the planet when you play online? Is it Mario? Cause, you know, it is his game. Nah, it's a whole gang of Miis. To be honest, I'd be pretty intimidated if a bunch of these guys surrounded me. And you know what's absolutely savage? Showing up to race in a game that has nothing to do with racing. This extra mode in Mario Party 8 was just for fun, no prize on the line. Yet the Mii had to once again prove their dominance, even if it was pretty boofed. Now Sonic, the king of speed himself, caught word that the Miis were dusting all the big players. He wanted to see for himself how fast this Mii really was on the track. He had witnessed their skills in the Olympic Games and in Smash Bros, but those were nothing like his game. His game was all about speed. So he invited the Mii to partake in his game, Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed. Now the Mii here lacked experience. Sonic's game isn't all about go-karting. You need to know how to drive well, cruise on the water in a rocket-propelled boat, fly a plane like you are a pilot in Top Gun, all while navigating through the craziest courses you have ever seen in your entire life. I mean, this game came out 2 years before Mario Kart 8, and honestly, I think I prefer these tracks. Nonetheless, Sonic assumed he had the Miis beat, assumed being the key word. You see, the Miis have been cooped up on that island for years with nothing to do but drive boats and fly planes. Yeah, this is on the more faster, chaotic scale, but the Miis adapt quick. They very quickly got the hang of it and put Sonic in his place. You can shoot as many rockets, bomb cars, snowballs, and annoying bee swarms all you want, but the Mii was born for nothing but first place. Now let's relax a little bit, take the intensity down a notch. Because Mii's only desire is not to destroy competitors in sports and racing events, they like to live a little, be a little quirky, have some... Wii Play is a place for Miis to have some nice quality, good old-fashioned fun. These are relaxing, fun little games that the Miis can partake in without having to take it so seriously. I mean, almost every Mii you see in this game just looks so happy. Whether they're hitting strange poses inside a bubble, looking for lookalikes within a crowd of Miis, or riding a yarn cow through scarecrows, this part of life is essential for Miis to have after spending so much time defying death in the odds. So, to build on this, they created another group of fun activities in Wii Play Motion, with even crazier and stranger games than the last. Miis will always strive for chaos, and what's more chaotic than using an umbrella to propel yourself across the death-defying track, or the world's largest trampoline park? These guys sure know how to party, which brings us to our next game, Wii Party. Though Miis loved to play in games that were just for fun, they missed that competitive edge. They needed a winner to be crowned. So, they decided to throw a party where players raced to be the first to reach the end of a board while competing in crazy fun minigames. They took Wii Play and perfected it to their liking. Yeah, it's very similar to Mario Party, but Mario has become very exclusive since his recent encounter with the Miis. But the Miis took this personally and decided to offer way more than just the typical board game mode. Whatever mood they were feeling, I guarantee you they had a game mode for it. And of course, because enough is never enough for these guys, they had to do it again with bigger and better ideas in Wii Party U. I mean, come on, could Mario create an entire game mode based around fashion? Didn't think so. Like I briefly mentioned before, they were able to invade one Mario Party, which was Mario Party 8. I don't know if some kind of deal was struck between the Miis and Mario, but he allowed them to be in his game, but only if they stuck to their own section. These minigames were alright, with most of them being puzzle games or knockoff versions of other games. Well, the Miis thought this was pretty lame and agreed to never return to a Mario Party game again. But one devious, mischievous character became fond of the Miis. He appreciated how much they got under Mario's skin. That character was none other than Wario. He liked them, so he invited them to come join his game, Wario Smooth Moves. And the Miis very graciously accepted because Wario's games were known to be really weird and chaotic, which is right up the Miis' alley. And weird is exactly what happened. They would be a recurring character in a buttload of fast-paced minigames. From shooting bananas at a giant nose, to directing the right gender to the bathroom, to dodging meteorites as a spring, no task was too strange for the Miis. Wario appreciated their hard work, so he dedicated the entire multiplayer section to them. That's right, this was a place where Miis can compete against each other in a bunch of different games and modes. They were in heaven. Have you ever wondered where Miis live? What the average day for a Mii looks like? If there's a physical world out there that Miis call their own? Well, let me introduce you to the next section. In the 3DS game, Tomodachi Life, we get to see what the average life outside of all that intense competition looks like. No games, no sports, no fighting, just life. And it's actually very similar to our lives. They live in places like apartments where they can chill and hang with their Mii friends. They can fall in love and have children, visit a store and purchase some stylish clothing, or sit down and enjoy a nice meal at a local diner. However, unlike us, they have a very functional, non-violent, peaceful society. Almost everyone gets along with each other, and if they don't, they leave it at that. They have high-functioning facilities like a town hall and a news station, beautiful and clean public beaches and parks, and they even donate money every day to a fountain that goes back into the town. And I don't know how they figured out a way around the whole having jobs thing, but kudos to them. They've literally created the perfect society. But far away in a distant land but on the same planet is another place where the Miis live and prosper, a Miitopia if you will. It's a quaint little old-fashioned town where everyone is living in harmony. Well, the Miis have built quite a reputation and have gained the attention from a dark wizard who wishes them nothing but suffering. So what does this dark wizard do? Does he steal their princess? Want to become ruler of their land? No, he steals their freaking faces. Their faces. Man, even the Mii's enemies are intense. And on top of that, he then puts those faces on things and forces them to attack the Miis. Like, what the hell? So, being the fearless species they are, they venture out to defeat this fiend and save their town's faces. A problem I never knew could exist, but now I'm kinda terrified. On a lighter note, they did manage to create a whole ass theme park. This theme park called Nintendo Land is glorious. Hell, I'm pretty sure they inspired Nintendo to build an actual Nintendo Land. There's a bunch of nostalgic and creative games that any visiting Mii can take part in. They can dress up as Link and slay enemies from the popular series, survive an adventure while you glide through the air carried by balloons, or copy the dance moves of an underwater sea diver. Their innovation for creating fun, unique attractions is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And the countless collectibles and cool stuff scattered around the theme park is enough to make any Nintendo fanboy fall to their knees. And if all this stuff wasn't enough for you, well, they can also become the entire planet. A planet, people. Is there anything these Miis can't do? Many people in this world would label Snoop Dogg as the king of side quests. Like, why did he voice over Animal Planet documentaries? Whatever. The point is that title does not belong to him. It belongs to the Miis, and let me prove it to you. Did you know that the Miis met Howie Mandel? Not only that, but they competed for $1 million on one of the most well-known game shows, Deal or No Deal. Who the hell set this up? I mean, at this point, I've lost all my expectations. These guys have become so popular that the folks in the Animal Crossing games have an accessory that makes them look like a Mii. They are certified celebrities. Mickey Mouse, the most well-known character in the entire world, invited the Miis to live with him and his friends at a magical Disney castle. This is like every child's dream come true. To be fair, they do have them running all over the place completing various tasks, but it's a small price to pay. Just look at this place. As a real-life human being, I'm kinda jealous. And if Mario and Sonic weren't annoyed enough with the Miis, they also invaded their sacred 2D platformer games. In New Super Mario Bros. U and U Deluxe, you can find them dashing across classic levels. And to add insult, they're dressed up in Mario's clothes. Now that's just toxic. They can't play in the standard story mode, but the fact that they're even in this game, even in a challenge mode, is kinda crazy. This is the same case in Sonic Colors. They have a little retro side-scrolling mode where Miis can zip around these strange levels. I guess we now know that Miis are as quick as Sonic. Even in a 3D Mario game, one of the biggest ones on the Wii U and Switch, they had to be a part of. In Super Mario 3D World, you can race against Mii ghost characters. It's not a huge part, but it's a part. I don't know about you, but if I were Mario, I'd think I was schizophrenic. On top of all the incredible, amazing things these guys can already do, they are musical geniuses. In Wii Music, we see them pick up and learn so many different instruments so freaking quick. I mean, these guys know how to boogie. Name an instrument and I guarantee you they know how to play it. Piano, guitar, trumpet, hell, they can make sweet, sexy music using dog barks. I'm convinced that the Miis are peak evolution. They also got involved in the Pokemon world. Now it's very briefly in a cutscene before the game even starts, and it's not actual Pokemon, but it's hilarious knowing that the toy Pokemon you play with throughout the game are being controlled by Miis. Why? I don't know, they're just doing what they want to at this point. If you ever get tired of seeing nothing but Miis at every corner, you can always close the game and load up the good old internet. I mean, they can't be everywhere. Boom, jump scare. Even when you're alone looking up stuff on the internet that your FBI watching wouldn't approve of, there they are, watching, judging. You can never escape them. After watching this video, I hope you've come to the realization that the Nintendo Mii should never be underestimated. Whatever task or activity you throw at them, they will master instantly. And I've only mentioned a handful of games where the Miis decide to make an appearance in. There are a crap ton of more games. If I covered it all, this video would be one long movie. Let's just hope in the future, especially with the Switch 2 being rumored, Nintendo doesn't forget about them, because they will pay for it if they do. This video took a lot of work, so a like and subscribe would be very appreciated. I wish you guys a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.